Trigger warning. The following is my blasphemous opinion. We're going to go on a wild ride today, so buckle up. But don't worry, I'll drive. On March 23rd of this year, Donald Trump made this vicious attack on Heidi Cruz, wife of Senator Cruz, in the form of a tweet. The tweet shows a side-by-side comparison picture of Ted Cruz's wife, Heidi, and that of Melania Trump on the right. This hateful tweet was created by Donald Trump and publicly directed at Ted Cruz. This attack came out of nowhere and was unprovoked, and to this day, Donald Trump has been completely unrepentant. But where did this story really begin? As political candidates often do, they leverage their wives to help them in their election. And Donald Trump, in a lot of ways, is perhaps a little bit more to brag about than your average presidential candidate when it comes to having a physically attractive wife. About the time the internet was revealing elements of a sex scandal involving Ted Cruz, where Cruz allegedly having extramarital relationships with as many as 5 different women, the mainstream media has been more concerned with Donald Trump and using his wife Melania Trump in anti-Trump political messages. A super PAC called Make America Awesome was focused on preventing Trump from becoming the presidential nominee for the Republican Party. Recently, this super PAC featured ads targeting female Mormon voters in Utah with a graphic image from about 15 years ago shown here. Oh my God. It was here, I swear to you. I looked at this posting less than 2 hours ago. Now what am I going to do? I guess my argument is doomed. Not so fast. I did save a clip of the original post before it mysteriously vanished. Meet Melania Trump, your next First Lady. Or you could support Ted Cruz on Tuesday. Now, you'll notice at the bottom of the picture it says, paid for by Make America Awesome. Right down here. Not authorized by any candidate or candidate committee. I guess that's the fine print there. So, who is this super PAC, Make America Awesome? Well, we'll get into that a little bit later. After seeing this ad on March 22nd, Donald Trump tweeted out, Ted Cruz just used a picture of Melania from a GQ shoot in his ad. Be careful, Lion Ted, or I'll spill the beans on your wife. Ted Cruz responded that same day, pick not of your wife, not from us. Donald, if you try and attack Heidi, you're more of a coward than I thought. Hashtag classless. The following day, Trump replied, Lion Ted denied that he had anything to do with the GQ model photo post of Melania. I guess that's why we call him Lion Ted. Later that day, Ted Cruz went on the Today Show and was quoted as saying, this is a pattern with Donald Trump. When he's unhappy, when he's scared, he lashes out, he yells, he screams, he often curses, and he threatens people. Donald is a bully, and I told him last night, don't you dare try to attack my wife. Later in the day, Ted Cruz was quoted as saying, that ad was completely inappropriate and has nothing to do with us. It's a separate group. It wasn't our campaign. It wasn't even a super PAC affiliated with us in any way. I don't know the person who did it. We have no involvement with him whatsoever. And Donald knows that he's just using it as an excuse to attack my wife. This is a serious time with a serious threat to our safety and security. Now, let's put a little bookmark here. We'll get back to this super PAC business a little bit later. Now, at this point in time, Trump had yet to send out his mean tweet and viciously attack Heidi Cruz. But I'm sure he was planning it, or he had a crafty team of propagandists and artists busily creating the meme that he later tweeted. So here it is for all the world to see. Once again, a picture is worth 1,000 words, Donald tweets. The caption on the picture says, "No need to spill the beans. The images are worth 1,000 words." Now, what do you think he meant by spill the beans? Well, it's no secret that Heidi Cruz formerly worked for 3 investment banks: JP Morgan Chase, Merrill Lynch, and Goldman Sachs. In 2005, she was working as a private wealth manager after serving as a Goldman Sachs representative for 7 years. Cruz is promoted in 2013 to regional head of the Southwest United States for their investment management division in Houston, Texas. In 2012, Heidi Cruz and her husband, they cashed in their liquid net worth to finance the Ted Cruz senatorial campaign. In an interview, she stated that due to her experience with Goldman Sachs, she felt that self-financing the campaign with their financial assets was an investment in their future. In January 2016, Reuters reported that her husband's campaign was also financed by a previously undeclared loan Cruz received from Goldman Sachs. Now, since that time, much suspicion has been brought about by that loan in the fact that the terms of the loan were a bit vague and a few other problems, but we'll save that for a future video. In the year 2000, she worked as an economic policy director on the Bush for President campaign, which is where she met her future husband, Ted Cruz. Later, in 2003, Cruz reported directly to the NSA. So, as you can see, Heidi Cruz is a valid political and public figure, and as such is not out of bounds for criticism. But we still have to address the issue of who exactly the super PAC is, but we're just about ready to get to that point. Now, as I look over this photo that Donald Trump created, wait a minute. I look down here. It looks like he didn't actually create it at this Don Vito 08, and well, here's his logo right in the middle of the screen. So it looks like Trump didn't create this. In fact, it looks like he simply retweeted a tweet that he had received. Okay. This caused Ted Cruz to respond later that evening. "Donald, real men don't attack women. Your wife is lovely, and Heidi is the love of my life." And this, of course, created a firestorm in the press. And here's just a few of the examples. New York Magazine says, "This attacking Heidi Cruz for depression is a disgraceful move." Of course, nowhere in this dialogue were there any of these tweets did Donald Trump say anything about her well-documented depression. From NBC News, Cruz warns trumping feud over wives. Real men don't attack women. And Today News, Donald Trump threatens Ted Cruz's wife. He is a bully. And from the ever-reputable Huffington Post, Donald Trump insulting Heidi is new proof that he is unfit to be president. And then from one of my favorite news media sources, Salon, Trump's female problems. Donald Trump's attack on Ted Cruz's wife proves he's too sexist to stand a chance against Hillary Clinton. 2 days later, Trump's spokeswoman, Katrina Pearson, pictured here, said, "Spilling the beans is quite simple when it comes to Heidi Cruz. She is a Bush operative. She worked for the architect of NAFTA, which has killed millions of jobs in this country. She was a member of the Council on Foreign Relations when Senator Cruz's own words called a nest of snakes that seeks to undermine national sovereignty. and she's been working for Goldman Sachs, the same global bank that Ted Cruz left off of his financial disclosure. Her entire career has been spent working against everything Ted Cruz says that he stands for. Now, earlier, I asked you to bookmark the idea about Make America Awesome and the super PAC that was, apparently not affiliated with Ted Cruz. Liz Mayer from the Make America Awesome super PAC said, "We're by default now backing Cruz, but that's because it's the best available mechanism for stopping Trump. We would run ads encouraging people to vote for a dry dog turd if it's a viable shot at blocking Trump. I personally was a supporter of Cruz during a Senate run, and I'd be very happy with him as a nominee." Glenn Beck was quoted, "If Donald Trump is elected president, the First Lady would be the first to have posed nude in lesbian porno shots." Now, looking all over the internet for nude photos of Melania Trump, which is one of the things that took me so long to make this video, is my hours and hours of research that I had to do trying to find these lesbian photos of Melania. Yet I was unable to find anything resembling lesbian porn. But I'm willing to spend a little bit more time on that endeavor. In the meantime, Melania Trump herself said back in 2015, "I think people will always judge me, and maybe they'll say the past is the past. That's the way it is. You're modeling, but that's the job I was doing. I was a very successful model, and I did some photo shoots. Yeah, they were a little risque, but nothing more than you see each year in Sports Illustrated." Donald Trump is most definitely not representative of your typical politician. In my opinion, I think that's one of the reasons that he has become as popular as he has. Now, like any other trade, craft, business, or occupation that a person can engage in, one is typically not performing at their peak during the first year. So let's just acknowledge that he has less than a year of on-the-job training. Many of the things that he said are not very artful, sometimes inelegantly put forth, and that leads to him getting into more than his fair share of negative press. But after this kind of treatment from the media, the insults to his wife, and just plain ad hominem attacks as Trump is a bully, Trump is an idiot, without any documentation or citation to back that up, I can understand why Donald Trump would be a little sensitive and defensive of his wife and his family. He did not create the tweet. He simply retweeted it. Was it a bit childish or unpresidential? Yeah, maybe. But like I said earlier, Trump's greatest appeal is the fact that he's not a polished politician. I find that refreshing. And Trump finding this tweet but not creating this tweet is something I have a hard time finding criticism. If your family was attacked, your wife falsely accused of being a porn star or a tramp, all I ask you is, if put in Donald Trump's place, how would you feel? How would you react? How would you be inclined to push back against the attacks on your wife? But that's just my blasphemous opinion. Thus endeth today's sermon.